What's good, everybody? This is Rob back with another video. I'm here to do a what's on my phone video. I'm using the S10 Plus and I'm also using the Nova launcher. I'm going to break down how I set my phone up, give you a little insight and how I like my Android phones to look. So again, like I said earlier, I'm using Nova Launcher Prime, but I'm also a member of the beta program. You can join that by scrolling to the bottom of the Nova Launcher page inside of the Google Play Store, and it should be a little link letting you know how to join the beta program. So if you're interested in doing that, by all means jump in. But what makes this Android setup with Nova Launcher Prime a little unique is I have a similar setup to a Pixel launcher, but the difference is I have infinite scroll on the 3 screens that I use. But one of the cool things is if you go to the edge and flick over, you have the Nova Launcher Pixel page look. So I have a Google Now page right there, just like you would on a Pixel launcher, but I'm using Nova Launcher Prime. The icon pack that I'm using is called Simplex. Now Simplex is a real nice, simple, and somewhat minimal looking icon pack. One of my favorite ones I like to use depending on what type of wallpaper I'm using in the background. And speaking of wallpaper, I'm using the Holy wallpaper. Now that's a wallpaper that takes advantage of the actual hole, setting up different cool pictures and characters to kind of blend those 2 little camera hole cutouts in the S10 and S10 Plus. The widget that I'm using is KWGT widgets, and the widget icon pack that I'm using is called Click Widget. And this is one of the unique widgets that's within that icon pack. I think there's a total of maybe 40 different widgets, clocks, and different looks you can use within that icon pack for the KWGT widget app. On the next page, I'm using the PowerAmp music player. Now, PowerAmp is one of the most top of the line music players out there. Lots of options, great EQ. Don't get me wrong, with the Dolby Atmos and the EQ that this app provides, you can make some of the most crisp and dynamic sounds using the PowerAmp app. On the next page, I'm using the Calendar Widget monthly widget app from the Google Play Store. Highly customizable calendar app, lots of themes. I think well over 32 different calendar themes in there. So if you like that, check that out. The widget below that is called a Today's Weather app. Very highly customizable, lots of different widgets, and very detailed, detailed weather app that gives lots of information, detailed information, breaks down a lot of different things, pollen count, when the sun will rise, setting, the next full moon. Very detailed weather app by Today's Weather. So let's scroll back to the first page and let me show you how I'm using my my different apps I got set up here. Now Nova Launcher provides what they call a cover. So let me give you a quick example. Let me unlock it. If I hit edit and turn off that, it'll show you that there are 4 apps hiding behind one app as a cover. So within here, I have a regular gallery app. I use Quick Pick also. I have a camera remote app that works with my DSLR. There's a cool cut and paste app that I kind of mess around with. It's just things where you can cut and make memes and just do little unique things with it. It's kind of buggy, but it's a pretty cool app. I have the Google Photos, Snapseed, where I do a lot of editing pictures and what have you. The Hidey Hole wallpaper, let me jump into that. As you can see, a listing of different wallpapers that can work with the cutout of the Samsung phone. Got my regular camera app. I have all my voice assistants. Quick flick up and you can see I have any voice assistant type of product or app I keep in here. I have my Sonos speaker voice assistant app, Nanoleaf, the Google Assistant, and the Google Now, Amazon, and Bixby Vision and Voice. Next up, and this one is my reading apps. Feely is one of my favorite reading apps. Also have Bleacher Report for sport and getting the latest information on that. So that's one of my favorite sports apps to go to. I also have Fandango for movies. Flipboard is another reading app. Pocket is a good app for when it comes to saving articles that you may want to read later and come back and read them offline. That's a good app to have. Reddit and The Score, which is another sports app, which gives a lot of up-to-the-minute information. You can get your scores a lot faster with this app. So it's one of my favorite go-to sports apps. But right now it's taking a little time to load up. Next up, I'm not going to wait for that, is my social media. You got Facebook, Instagram. Phoenix is one of my Twitter clients. I have the regular Twitter, GroupMe, Pinterest, Telegram. I'm in a couple of Telegram groups, Hangouts, Facebook Messenger, TubeBuddy, and YouTube Studios. All of those, if you're familiar with those, are somewhat self-explanatory. As far as when it comes to apps, you really don't have to explain that about social media. I'm in the process of, I think I'm about to give up Facebook. Facebook is too much of a battery hog, and plus Facebook is getting a little passe and a little long in the teeth. And it's really not worth the time and effort, really, to deal with Facebook. Next up is music and videos. Now within that folder, I have YouTube. I have YouTube streaming music, Sirius, Netflix, Amazon Prime Video. Got Fandango over here, I got to get rid of that. I have iHeart, Play Movie, my Spotify, and Castbox is what I use for podcasts. So a lot of that is somewhat self-explanatory. A lot of these apps you don't have to go into detail about what they are. Next up, kind of like my financial folder, my bank, my personal bank, Capital One. I got Samsung Pay, PayPal, Google Pay, Cash App, Lotto, and a tip calculator. Right here I use the standard Samsung Google Game Launcher to organize my games. Probably the best way to organize any game you may have, and also it helps optimize any game you're playing. Once you use this game launcher, there's so many different setups to allow the game to run at its most optimal level using this game launcher, other than just launching that game by itself. You're pretty much better off using this. Here I have Marvel Champion, Tekken, Injustice. You can see some of the games, Strike Force, NBA Jam, Fortnite. Got a couple of kids games in there, so they're not for me, but I do have young ones who like to take a hold of my phone, and while they're using it, I at least like to have a couple of cool games for them. And within this gaming launcher, they tend to stay within the game itself, and it keeps them from wandering outside of that game. Next up is my shopping folder. Got Amazon. Now, one of my favorite tracking apps, Slice, does not work on Samsung phones anymore, and I have yet to figure out why that doesn't work anymore. But I'm holding out hope that somehow Slice can get its act together and come back to working on Samsung phone. But if you have another type of phone and you're looking for a good tracking app, Slice is the go-to app to use. Next up, I got my Best Buy app. Big B Coffee, which is kind of like a Starbucks here in Michigan. We do have Starbucks, but I like Big B better. Got my Nike app. Go in there and check out the latest in kicks. Haven't logged in. I usually have it logged in on my other phone. Kroger's parcel tracker is what I've been using so far since Slice hasn't been working. Slick Deals, MJR Mobile, which is a local movie theater here, and this is where I use to buy my movie tickets and check out what's new and what's playing and what's at the theaters. My last folder I call Travel and Tourism. I use my Waze app for travel, especially daily travel, locally back and forth to work. I got Lyft, Google Travels, which helps track things like my plane, when my plane is leaving and arriving, and those type of things, and just hotel information. So that's a pretty cool app to have if you're going on a trip and everything. It kind of helps you keep everything nice and organized on trips. I got the regular Google Maps, Uber, and Booking.com, which is a good reservation app that I like to use from time to time. And finally, on the last page, I have my Google Keep Notes, which is good for helping me keep track of notes and other things that I like. Google Drive, which I use to upload a lot of my videos to get to my computer. So if I'm not using my iPhone, Google Drive is the main way I move things from my Android to my iMac. I use the Google Calendar app, and with that app, it can sync to the monthly calendar app, and it works hand in hand. So that's the cool thing about that monthly calendar app. My file manager of choice is Astro. Helps organize my phone, how I can move things from my internal storage to a local network or to my SD card. This is a cool app, file manager. There's about 10 or 20 of them that's in the Google Play Store, but Astro is my favorite. Then I have Google Docs, where I try to write and keep track of notes and try to stay organized as much as possible. Down below, with these icons that don't have any name on them, but they're somewhat self-explanatory: my phone, Chrome, Gmail, Messenger, and Google Play. So that pretty much does it. I will go in the app drawer, but there's a lot of little things in here, and I might actually push the video a little longer. But what I would do is I'm going to slowly scroll up here, and if you see an app that's in here that kind of got your attention, let me know, and we can talk about it down below. I'll let you know about the app and leave some information if you're interested in what you saw in that app drawer. So that pretty much does it for this video of what's on my phone. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And I really appreciate you guys out there, all you digital natives out there who's in the tech. I really appreciate your support and the things you do for me and following my videos. Thanks again. I really appreciate it. Again, thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. I'm out.